Well, it is good to be here with Sam Stevens, the founder, the brainchild behind Street Bank. We're here in West London. We're about as far from Alderholt as it could be. It feels like, because of a lovely little coffee shop going on with the sights and the sounds of London right on our doorstep here, and a few less trees to be found around there. But thank you for joining me, Sam. It's good to be here.
It's very good to be here. Thank you.
It would be great to hear a little bit, if you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I run a recruitment business by day, and we recruit mainly for charities. Lots of international development posts, that kind of thing. And by night, I run a website called Street Bank, which is a website that allows you to see what your neighbours will lend or give away.
Right, brilliant. So it sounds like an interesting idea. Obviously, I know a little bit about Street Bank, but where did the idea come from?
Okay, so this is going back a couple of years now. I became good friends with my downstairs neighbours. Really through knocking on their door and asking them for a pint of milk, and things escalated from there. I think they needed a chair for a dinner party, and over time we became friends, and it was really through borrowing and lending things from each other. And then one day I was cycling down the road and I saw a hedge cutter, and I desperately needed to cut my hedge.
Right, okay.
And so, but I didn't quite have the courage to go and talk to them and say, "Can I borrow your hedge cutter?" Even though I'm fairly bold and brazen, but I thought I don't quite have the courage. So anyway, I got together with a friend of mine called Ryan, and together we thought we'd create a website where everyone could pull all of their things, and it would be like a sort of shared giant attic stroke garden shed stroke toolkit stroke fancy dress kit.
Right.
Fancy dress chest.
Okay. I imagine that there's a few of us that have had that experience of thinking, I just need this one thing for a particular job, and I don't really want to have to go out and buy it. It'd be much more beneficial, cost effective, and just a bit nicer to borrow someone else's. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the spirit behind it.
Brilliant. Well, so you say, how long has it been going for?
So we launched in April this year, and we'd kind of tested it out with friends. So we had 400 or 500 people on it at that stage, but it's been growing ever since then.
Brilliant. So you say it's been growing. So how many people are involved or signed up to Street Bank now?
Well, the last time I looked, which was about half an hour ago, there was 5,598.
Right. Okay. That's pretty good going in the course of just over 6 months. Yeah.
Well, if we were to grow by another 10 times in the course of the next 6 months, I'd be really pleased.
Right. Okay. So obviously we're here in Parsons Green in West London. But are there particular areas where Street Banks go in the best?
I'd say West London is the heartland, but there's other places. It actually works internationally. So there are little communities in Malaysia, in Turkey, in Edmonton, Canada.
Oh, okay.
and in Alderholt.
Right, and in Alderholt. Yes, there's a little expanding group of us. I think we're somewhere around about 20 people now. So we're small, but we're growing.
Good. That's lovely to hear.
Really. So, what's the big idea? Obviously, you started off just over 6 months ago. But have you got a target, an amount of people you want to get signed up? What do you want to achieve?
Well, my competitive spirit would say let's get bigger than Free Cycle, which is another quite similar website, which is mainly around giving away. And Street Bank you can give away as well as lend. But I think more profoundly, I think that we would like Street Bank to sort of change people's mindsets about the things that they own, and see their possessions as a tool for meeting people. So that's one thing. I think we'd also love it to become the parish magazine of every little community in the country.
Right, okay.
So there's a newsletter that goes out once a week showing all the things that have been added to the site, but also all the requests and all the events and all of those kinds of things.
Oh, brilliant! Well, we definitely have our parish magazine in Alderholt, and the Street Bank's actually featured in our parish magazine. So, so it's almost an online version of.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly it. So every parish, every village, every community could have their own little Street Bank newsletter going out.
Okay, so what do people get out of it? So obviously people can sign up and they can give away things, but what would you like people to get out of being involved in Street Bank?
I think there's a number of benefits. Obviously, you save money. You go onto it, you add your one thing. There's no fee to join. You just add one thing that you're willing to lend or give away, or a skill you're willing to share. So it can be a low-value item like a DVD, or it can be an old TV that you want to get rid of, or people have put on pianos and so on. So where I am, I've added. I think as the founder, I've tried to be a bit more energetic, and I put on 12 or 13 things.
Right.
And but there are 638 things in my area that I've now got access to.
Right. Okay.
So one benefit is I've got a bunch of things that I've got access to that I wouldn't otherwise have had. The second thing is it's really changed my perception of the area. I've just seen how generous people are. I love the fact that people are giving away some really, really nice items. Last week I could have picked up a juicer, and I held back because I thought I can't just grab the best things. I always get to see them first. But you know, a juicer and cafetières and all these kind of nice things. And it's sort of encouraged me to think that actually the neighbourhood is a safe place and a really positive place. Yeah. There's also an environmental impact as well, which is it reduces our consumption of the Earth's precious resources, and it stops us adding to landfill. So there's two sort of environmental things.
It's really interesting that you get a different impression of the community in which you live in. I guess we talk more and more about we becoming more and more isolated from each other, and this is a great way to almost interact with some of those people.
Exactly. I think that one of the big challenges that we face as a country is loneliness. So many people complain about loneliness, and that's very, very real. And actually, our great success as a nation, perhaps, is what we've been working towards is material security, but it's had this negative side effect of being rather lonely. And actually, Street Bank is one way of saying, I want to be interdependent. I don't want to be totally dependent on the people around me, but I want to be interdependent. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to foster.
See, one of the things I really like about Street Bank is the way it differs slightly from something like Free Cycle, is that you can put on offers of help, sort of skills that you have which can make a difference to people. I think that's almost one of the best elements of it for me. That lots of people, if they think hard enough, they've got something that they can offer. I know for me, I'm useless at all kinds of DIY. So if I saw that somebody was able to put up shelves, that would be particularly
that would be really helpful.
For me. Just wondering if there's been any really interesting. You say you get to see the items or the offers of help first, whether there's been any kind of really interesting things that have been offered or picked up, or.
I guess the things that appeal to me on the skills front are things like how to make the perfect paper aeroplane, or how to do a good magic trick.
Yeah.
But in terms of items that have been picked up, this is a personal experience. I'm organising a stag event tomorrow for some friends, for a friend of mine who's getting married in the new year. And slightly unkindly, we're going to dress him up in a tutu. That was the plan.
Well, I think that's fair enough as a stag do.
Yeah, so we're going to only limited levels of humiliation. But we thought that if we're going ice skating, he should wear a tutu
fair enough
over his joke policeman's outfit. So that's one thing. I'm sure there are other things. I mean, as I say, pianos have been given away. 50-inch flat screen TVs have been given away.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so there's been some good things and some generous acts.
Yeah, great. Well, it sounds. I just think it's just a really great idea, and I hope people in Alderholt start to use it and join the small bunch of us that are expanding. So, people have heard now a bit about Street Bank. They've seen or heard about the things that they can do, the things they might be able to receive. But how do they do it? How do they get involved and get signed up?
So it's pretty easy. You go to streetbank.com, you put in your postcode, you add one thing that you're willing to lend or give away, and then the world is your oyster. It'll show you everything within 1 mile of your front door, and actually soon to be 5 miles as we're changing things slightly, but everything close to you that your neighbours are lending.
Oh, well, you can hear that. So Alderholt, we're expanding out to Fordingbridge and Furwood, so we can have a few different areas involved as well, but particularly Alderholt. Let's get some more people signed up.
Yeah, I'll just sound check that again. It's streetbank.com.
Streetbank.com, right? We've got well, I'll call it a regular feature. It's the second time we've done it with our guests that we've had on the MadeinAlderholt podcast. Helps us get to know you a little bit and just adds a bit of interest to what we're doing. So, last week we had Vicar Pip Martin answering these 3 questions, and this month we have Sam Stevens. So, I have 3 people for you. The 3 people are Ian Hislop of Have I Got News For You, the editor of Private Eye kind of fame. Kevin Peterson, very newsworthy at the moment with the Cricket with the Ashes series going on. And John Lennon, obviously well known of Beatles fame. And I'm going to give you 3 questions or 3 different things which you have to choose which one you would do with each of these people. So the first one is have a glass of wine with. The second one is read a book written by. And the third one is hear a lecture given by. So you've got those 3 different people. And so which one you would, firstly, that you would have a glass of wine with? So Ian Hislop, Kevin Peterson, or John Lennon?
I think have a glass of wine. Have a glass of wine is the most sort of, you get to know the person best.
Yeah.
And John Lennon is such a legend. Yeah. And I want to know how he writes such good tunes. What's the secret to writing the perfect melody?
Right.
So yeah, I think I'll go for John Lennon.
Yeah, and he's hopefully would have the money as well to be able to pay for the good wine. As well. And the second one is read a book written by. I don't know if you're a big reader or.
Yeah, no, I like reading. I think I'd probably. Kevin Peterson isn't. I wouldn't imagine him to be a natural friend. No. I'd be quite. And I don't know an enormous amount about him, but I think he's got quite a sort of racy private life. So probably wouldn't be the most healthy read, but I probably quite enjoy reading.
Right. Okay.
About his life.
Yeah. Okay. So that's hear a lecture given by.
Hear a lecture given by Ian Hislop. He's always engaging. Happily listen to him for hours.
Brilliant. Great. Well, I think that's just about finishes our time that we've got with Sam today. Thank you for coming on the 3rd episode of MadeinAlderholt podcast.
Hooray.
And everybody out there, you've heard more about Street Bank, and get yourself signed up to it. Join me and the rest of us on there, and let's start sharing a bit of our goods, but also sharing some of our skills, and continue to make Alderholt the best village in the world to live in. So thank you for your time, Sam.
Thank you. Nice to speak to you.
Well, it is just about time for me to go. Thank you again for joining me on the MadeinAlderholt podcast for the December edition. As always, I would love to hear your views and receive any feedback. Feel free to get in touch and also help me to spread the word about the podcast, about this little radio show that we do. Let's get our listeners up as high as we can. Especially now that you don't need to have a computer to access this. We're going to be burning some more hard copies onto CDs. So all you need is a CD player. So if you know of people who think actually they would love to listen to this, but they're not really technologically minded, they're not going to access it via the internet, but you think would love to receive a CD copy of it, please do get in touch. Also, if I'm always looking for help with various things, but if you think actually I would have a little bit of spare time, perhaps to help to advertise the podcast, to get those CDs out and about to some of the people in the local area, give me a call, send me an email, or just get in touch, and I would love to have a few more people on board with helping me to make this as good a podcast, as good a thing for Alderholt as it can be. And again, if you have ideas of guests that you think I should be getting on the podcast, people who have something to say, perhaps about local issues, or maybe even on a bigger basis, somebody just with an interesting story to tell, let me know. I remember I am still new to the area. I'm still getting to know people, and I'm sure you have a good idea of those people I should be getting on this show. And I will see you back here on the January edition of Maiden Alderholt. Have a wonderful Christmas.